What's going on, everyone? Super exciting news with Guild Wars 2. We've got alliances coming, engine upgrades, returning developers, and unfortunately also a delay, but I think it's for the best. Now, Guild Wars 2 ArenaNet, they sent out this letter today going over some information regarding End of Dragons, as well as some updates that are going to occur before then. And unfortunately, as a result, one of those things was a delay for the release of the game. But looking through the letter and everything that's going to be coming, I think overall it's definitely for the best. And as somebody who's, been in and out of the game over the years and had my own gripes with the development team and how they've done things, this is very reassuring. This is really positive. This is a really awesome letter and really exciting stuff that is happening to the game. It actually feels like they are doing something to greatly improve on the product as a whole. So let's go over all of that right now. First thing is the JT, the lead for the Guild Wars franchise and ArenaNet. He talks about that, there's some important updates that are going to be coming, and that they want to realign the game with their old ideals that shaped and formed the original Guild Wars franchise from what it was all those years ago. And this is supposed to be what they feel is going to be their step going back in that direction. So we'll have to just see how that all plays out. The first thing was, in this letter, there was this image here of what is assumed to be a Mesmer. And a lot of people think that it's a hint at the elite spec for Mesmer and that it's going to be dagger Mesmers that they gain. However, many also think it's merely just a Mesmer with a one-handed sword. Leave it up to you guys to decide or think about what you want it to be or think it is. But that would be pretty cool for Mesmers to have a dagger. I know a lot of people would like that. A warrior better be a staff, personally. Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons. So Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons was originally supposed to release late this year, 2021, probably around the holiday season, but they are now going to be delaying that until early 2022. And honestly, guys, you look around at all the other MMOs that are releasing this year out of nowhere and are also going to be releasing around late 2021, it's probably for the best and is going to do a lot better for the game in the long run, because as of right now, there's nothing set for early 2022. So Guild Wars 2 gets the entire floor to start things off in 2022 as of right now. So very good thing for them. Unfortunately, they are going to have a little bit of a delay on it, but they do have some really awesome stuff in the meantime to improve the current game that you are playing. And I think that warrants definitely some easing up on the delay until it's ready. But that being said, they are also going to have live streams throughout the rest of the year. The first one is going to be on the 27th, where we're going to get a first look at End of Dragons. So definitely make sure that you tune into their live stream on the 27th if you want to see those first hints and reveals of End of Dragon information. Now, one of the next big things that you might have heard us say at the very beginning, there are returning developers. One of them is a developer from a much earlier time in the game's history. If you are somebody who's only started playing in the last few years, you're not going to know who this is. But former game director Colin Johnson is going to be returning to ArenaNet to help co-lead the studio. And that's really awesome, because this is somebody who is very familiar with the product, with the IP, with the community, and with what the game's original design was all about. So he left in 2016. So like I said, if you've only just started playing recently, you got no idea who he is. But he spent, for the better part of 11 years working on the Guild Wars franchise. So it's very reassuring to have them bringing back people who know the product, know the community, and is very familiar with the designs of the game. So that is a really awesome thing. When JT reached out about the opportunity to help lead the studio with him, we spent lots of time talking Guild Wars 2, its future, and our interest in driving renewed focus on our players. Bringing the player's perspective into our development process is a huge part of what made Guild Wars a successful franchise in the beginning. Before we launched Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, we opened up to public testing to gather your feedback and make improvements. After they went live, we evaluated your feedback and your actions in the game, and we used that data to make a better experience for our community. We want to keep improving in this area in the future. So, let's talk about a concrete step we're talking to improve on this front. Guild Wars 2 is big and complex with lots of unique game experiences, including Living World, World v World, Player vs. Player, Endgame PvE, and more. Traditionally, the game director has had their attention split overseeing the development of the live game and expansions. To ensure the live game is getting the attention it deserves, they've created a new role specifically focused on leading development strategy for the live game and ensuring that we're giving you consistent quality experience. So not only are we getting an old developer back to help lead the studio, they are creating an entire new role to help drive the consistent development process of the game, and taking that feedback from players. And another returning face, Josh Davis, aka Grouch, is rejoining the team as well as the head of live operations. So Josh is going to be bridging the gap between players and developers, and it's how he got into the industry to begin with. It's been an eventful couple of months for the live team, starting with the summer 2021 live blog post we published back in April. It's a little nerve-wracking to publish detailed release dates that far in advance. Game development can be a little unpredictable at times, COVID. But in general, I can believe the benefits outweigh the risk, and we intend to push for this level of communication as much as we can going forward. It's new territory for ArenaNet, but we're excited about this direction. That's awesome that they're able to go there and admit that they have not had the best level of communication with their community, because they really have not. And that's been one of the biggest issues that Guild Wars 2's community has had with the game and with the company, is that their communication has been pretty poor. And it's nice to know that they're willing to acknowledge that and say, this is new for us, and we look to have this be the new norm for us and keep it going. So hopefully that keeps up. In addition to Living World Return, that roadmap announced some major additions coming to the game this summer, namely the Twisted Marionette and Legendary Armory. We prioritize these features because we know they're important to you. You've told us as much. With that in mind, we'd like to give you 2 more long-awaited updates that we know are important to many of you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Alliances. When? This year. So this year, even though we are not getting the End of Dragons update, alliances, something that was supposed to be back in the game years ago. I know. It's happening though. It's coming this year. World reconstructing, also known as alliances, is a feature that aims to deliver a more balanced World v World experience by dynamically creating matchups using World v World designated guilds, alliances, a player-made collection of guilds, and active World v World players as the inputs. This is in comparison to the current system that relies on worlds and world linking. The system will give us more flexibility and granularity when creating new matches and help address natural fluctuations in population over time. It'll also give players more agency in choosing who they want to play with on an ongoing basis. And this is a really big thing for a lot of the World v World community, because, everybody's got their own, drama and guild agency, player agency, people that they like, don't like, people at each other's throats, rivalries, all that good stuff. Which fortunately, with that, recent change to the miss, we've been seeing a lot of GVG action again, and that's been really good and healthy for the game's PvP scene. So this should further help increase that PvP World v World environment back into the game. Let's hope. World reconstructing is a big change to World v World, and we want to get it right. We've read a lot of your feedback on the systems, thousands of posts over the years. It's clear that there isn't a total consensus on how the feature should work. And it never will be. Let's be honest. Everybody has a different idea of what they think is the best way something should be in any game. So I think it's important that they take one that they think is best suited and just run with it and stick with it, because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be happy with whatever it is, right? Because everyone's going to want something different. It's a big fundamental change to how the mode works that can be daunting. In the past, we've sometimes made the mistake of releasing the final version of a feature and finding that it didn't quite meet your expectations, meaning that we wasted time and resources. To avoid this, we're going to do things a little differently this time around to make sure that your voice can help inform the development of World Reconstructing. Whoa! Again, here we go. Like, ArenaNet, Guild Wars 2, straight up admitting we've messed up. We have not done what we've needed to do, and we want to fix that. And that's awesome that they're admitting that they've released not technically finished products that were not up to par, probably in reference to templates. Now, World Reconstructing features will be released in a multi-phase beta. So they're actually going to put this through a beta testing where we are going to test it, and they are going to develop it based off of that testing and feedback that we, the players, provide. So that's really awesome. Once we've worked with you to lock down the design and implementation, we'll polish it up and take it out of beta. We'll be back in August to share an overview of how World Reconstructing works and the timing of the first live beta events. So really soon, you guys, you're going to get to start beta testing alliances. That's awesome. It's so awesome that this is happening. This is one of those things that should help just drive players back into World v World, hopefully. And then this is probably one of the biggest ones that there is. Client performance optimization. We are getting an upgrade to the client. That's right. After all this time, we are finally getting off of DX9, and they are upgrading the engine to DX11. They expect to roll it out in an opt-in beta later this year, so they're going to let people choose to run it at first as an option, because it's probably not going to be perfect right out the gate. Might have a few bugs here and there, so if people want to use DX9, they still can, but for those who want to opt in to use DX11, they'll be able to. It's important to note that the upgrade to DX11 itself isn't, however, a magic frame rate fix on its own. However, it does help generally a lot of the time for many people. Some players may notice no difference at all. However, upgrading to DX11 opens a lot of doors for improving performance, CPU multi-threading, for example. It also paves the way for some potential graphic upgrades down the road. Ooh. We're investing in our infrastructure, engine, and graphics because we're looking to the future. This is a long-term effort. So that's really interesting that in the future, we may actually see just in general an engine upgrade entirely to the game, which would be really interesting because even now, Guild Wars 2 still has a really good art style that fits the current gaming industry, and because of their style, it actually ages very well and does not, it doesn't become very outdated looking in a timely fashion. Something, like Unreal Engine happens to have happen a lot, like with Terra, for example. So really cool. Looks like here's everybody that was in a call. July 27th, End of Dragons, first look live stream, new trailer, feature reveals and information, news about elite specs, news about elite specialization beta events, and details about the story, character, art, event design, and more. So they're going to be planning a lot more live streams throughout 2021, and that is all of it. So that's really awesome, you guys. I think this is really incredible. Honestly, I'm freaking excited. As someone who's been in and out of the game over the years, because there's just been, lack of communication, lack of updates, lack of improvements, lack of changes of things happening with the game. This is a lot, and this is really exciting, and I'm pretty freaking stoked to start playing the game again and get back into it. Definitely going to need to practice. But yeah, if you're someone who's been away from the game and this maybe piques your interest, awesome. Definitely check it out again. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one. Peace.